Hey everyone, my name is Lo and this is my YouTube channel. I'm a guitarist and film composer in Malaysia, and in this channel I'll be sharing my music, stories, musical approach, musical gears, production methods, and all music related discussions. Recently, I had produced an album to commemorate my family trip to Japan in 2019, which left me one of the fondest memories in my life. The album is scheduled to release weekly, track by track, from next week onwards, so stay tuned for it. A bit about myself. I have started playing guitar since I was 11, and I have always wanted to produce my own original music, mainly rock, metal, heavy stuff. Besides that, I have a big heart towards everything related to music production, so I started learning everything. Simple recording, bass, drums, I even started to sing. However, there was a huge irony that the more I ventured into music, the more I drifted away from my original music. I began my music career since I was still in college, working as a session musician. I was very active in the local band scene, and after graduated, I quickly became a music arranger and a music teacher. After a few years, I started a small production company called Inner Voices Productions, and from there, I began to expand and explore everything related to music production. Film scoring, jingle writing, songwriting, sound designing, mixing and mastering, and even show directing, which was not a successful one. But overall, it was a fulfilling journey. After all these years of being all over the place, I had finally come to a point of realization that I was a bit lost. I was a bit unhappy. While I was doing quite well with film scoring, jingle writing, and almost everything that I ventured into, I had this strange feeling, some kind of unknown dissatisfaction. As I continued to move on, I began to search for it because it bothered me, and I want to know exactly what it was. Around 4 years ago, I was at the peak of my exploration. And when you hear people say peak, usually it's followed by a downhill journey. And true indeed, things begin to fall apart. It's like, oh, I am at the heart of the wonderland, of the place that I have always wanted to be. But suddenly, everything began to flip. The ground began to flip, the sky began to flip, and the people, all the wonderful things around you begin to flip. I begin to have conflict with almost everyone around me. There were opposition, but nobody defended me. Projects that were going well suddenly turned bad. And suddenly, my business stopped making profit. It's like a movie. When bad things come, they come together. And there was this terrifying silence at the end of everything that I was doing. It simply means no gratification, no appreciation, not even from the people closest to me. It is depressing, it's very disappointing. So I began to hate things. I hated composing. I stopped playing the guitar. I hated myself for choosing this pathway. I felt very, very empty, and I began to consider quitting. But sometime later, I finally found out what a strange feeling was. You know, that strange, unknown dissatisfaction that I mentioned just now. It was actually my unfulfilled dream, one of the deepest desire in me that I put aside for like 15 years. And that is my own original music. I was immediately reminded that that was the core purpose why I set foot on this pathway. So immediately I had a change of attitude, change of perspective. I began to passively push for it. But here came a contender. financial stability. What about it? Just like whatever you do, to work on original music, you need to carve out time and space to do it. And I don't even know if my music would make money or not. That's a problem. So I was afraid. I was afraid if I put aside some commercial job like a blockbuster film, if I do so, I would lose my financial stability. And so I hesitated. So around 2 years ago, I finally have some space. Immediately I jumped into it and start working on some lo-fi music, which you are going to hear in the coming weeks. I had a lot of fun, and finally I began to regain my confidence and the joy of making music. I knew I had to start small and enjoy some small progress. So I wasn't really thinking about how am I going to release it, where am I going to release it. I know this whole thing is a baby step for me, but I had a good time. Seriously, it was very, very meaningful to me because I finally get to do something that reflects my life, something that reflects who I really am. Not so long later, before I can even get to the halfway point of the album production, something happened to the world. Everything stopped. I'm not so sure if it is because of that or it's just coincidentally that most of the job that I had at that time began to stack up, overlapping on the same timeline. Disappointingly, I had to put aside my album and spend an entire year finishing up all the projects in one breath. And then, no more business. It seems like my situation has made a decision for me. Like, hey, no more jobs. Go work on your music. Wow, okay. So I completed the album, and then I began to work on my second album, which is a much heavier album. For that reason, I applied a program called the Independent Music Funding Program by CENDANA, a partial funding program to help me progress faster so that I don't have to do everything by myself, and also to up my production quality so that I can hire professionals to do the things that I don't know how to do. I will tell you more about CENDANA in the future. If you want more info, check out the link below. Then came to the time to ask some really interesting questions. What about my livelihood? Why is this even an issue? Because I can't do two things at the same time. I tried, I can't. I was one foot on my own album and the other foot on some small jobs. And I thought I could handle it, just like how I used to, but not anymore. I don't have that energy anymore. So it didn't work. I had to constantly put aside one of them. And there was a minor dilemma in me. While I was waiting for all these film scores and commercial jobs to come back, I was secretly hoping that they would not come back. Because honestly, I'm really not sure if I want to go back to them. I will tell you more about this in the future. So the big question is, am I going to give up on film scoring and all these commercial jobs in order to pursue a different career in music? And then how are you even going to sell your music? YouTube? Are you sure you want to start a YouTube career at the age of 35? Because there's this strange thinking in many modern society that when you're in your mid-30s, you're not supposed to do anything new. You're not supposed to restart anything. You're supposed to be rich and successful. You're supposed to lead a very stable life all the way until you retire and continue to be very stable. Sounds familiar, right? What do you guys think? BS? No BS? While I'm taking everything into serious consideration, I'm only becoming more and more absolute about this. But I also want to assure you, I am not giving up on film scoring. I just want something different in my life, something better. And you can't deny that many people are earning quite okay with YouTube. So there's really no reason why I can't do that too, if I do it properly. They say it takes a long time to grow. Well, everything takes time to grow anyway. One of my friends said to me, "Wow, that's a bold move." I believe if I truly want to change for the better, something different in my life, I must be bold and absolute about it. Even though I have no guarantee, nobody does anyway, I will still make that move. Because to me, I think it is more depressing if I already knew that I'm not going to have the future I want here in this place, but I stay on anyway. I think this is more depressing. I'm just gonna say this again. I am not giving up on film scoring. I'm just trying my best to take my value and my musical identity into a different height. And so here I am, 35 years old this year, and a new stage of life has just begun. Do I feel scared? Yeah, I am scared. But more than that, I am very excited. So I hope that you are also excited about your future. So that's it for the introduction. I know it's quite a long one, but thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate it. And here's a little teaser for the upcoming release. Thank you so much again for watching. Stay tuned for the album, and I'll see you in the next video.